When a teenage Nollywood star marries a billionaire politician more than 30 years bigger than her, the internet takes notice and never stops talking. Regina Daniels and Ned Nwoko's union had sparked endless conversations, debate, admiration, and even outrage. But behind the headlines and viral social media posts, there's a real story, one filled with love, ambition, tradition, and controversy. In today's video, we're diving deep into everything you need to know about Regina Daniels and Ned Nwoko's marriage. From how they met, the reasons behind their choices, public reactions, and where they are now. Before their names became linked in one of Nigeria's most talked about celebrity marriages, Regina Daniels and Ned Nwoko were already well known in their separate worlds. Regina Daniels was the first rising Nollywood actress, while Ned was a businessman and politician. Regina Daniels was born on October 10, 2000 in Lagos, Nigeria, but she grew up in Asaba Delta State. From a very young age, it was clear that Regina was destined for the spotlight. With the help and guidance of her mother, Rita Daniels, who is also an actress and movie producer, Regina entered the world of Nollywood at just 7 years of age. Her first movie role was in Marriage of Sorrow, and it didn't take long for her natural talent and screen presence to catch the attention of both filmmakers and fans across the country. By her teenage years, she had already become one of the most recognizable faces in Nigerian cinema, especially known for her roles in traditional and epic films. But Regina Daniels wasn't just acting alone. She was also building a powerful brand, taking full advantage of social media to connect with her fans, showcase her lifestyle, and great following that now reaches into the millions. With endorsement, modeling gigs, and her own production work, Regina became a self-made millionaire before she even turned 20. On the other hand, Prince Ned Nwoko, popularly known as Nwoko Ned, was born on December 21, 1960, in Idumeji, Uboku, Delta State. He hails from a royal family and has always had a life surrounded by influence and privilege. But he didn't stop there. He pursued his education both in Nigeria and the UK, eventually becoming a trained lawyer and a member of the prestigious Lincoln's Inn in London. In the UK, Ned Nwoko built a successful law career, specializing in international finance and business law. He returned to Nigeria in the late 1990s and transitioned into politics, serving as a member of the House of Representatives between 1999 and 2003, representing Aniocha North-South and Osimil North-South in Delta State. But politics and law were just part of his vast empire. Ned Nwoko is also a well-known businessman and philanthropist, has invested heavily in real estate, tourism, agriculture, and education. He even founded the Ned Nwoko Foundation, focusing on education and malaria eradication in Africa. He is also famously known for his polygamous lifestyle, something that is not uncommon in part of Nigerian culture, but it still draws attention in today's social media-driven world. By the time he met Regina, he already had multiple wives and children. So how did a part of a teen movie star and a 60-year-old billionaire cross? What brought them together, despite the generational gap and very different backgrounds? Well, their story is just getting started, and what happened next will shake the internet and shock you. With different lives, you might wonder how Regina Daniels and Ned Nwoko ever crossed paths. Was it love at first sight, a calculated decision, or something more complex? According to multiple sources and public statements from both Regina and Ned Nwoko, their path crossed through Regina Daniels' mother, Rita Daniels. Ned had reportedly been introduced to the Regina Daniels family through mutual friends in Delta State. At the time, Regina was already a household name in Nollywood, while Ned was becoming increasingly visible in philanthropic and political circles, particularly in the South region of Nigeria. What followed was a whirlwind of connection. Ned has publicly stated that he was immediately drawn to Regina's confidence and intelligence. In his words, "I met Regina, I liked her, I married her within 3 weeks." He also revealed that he never dated her in the traditional sense. He simply decided she would become his wife. For Regina, the decision was private. When the public speculated endlessly, she didn't speak much at first, but when she did, she admitted that it was her choice and that she was happy. In the early 2019, rumors began to circulate that Regina Daniels was involved with a much older, wealthy man. In early 2019, rumors began to circulate that Regina Daniels was involved with a much older man and also a wealthy man who was 40 years bigger than her. Social media detectives went into overdrive, analyzing every Instagram post, every caption, and even matching pictures of her car and jewelry to those reportedly owned by Ned Nwoko. In April 2019, the speculations were finally confirmed. Regina Daniels and Ned Nwoko held a traditional marriage ceremony in Delta State, officially sealing their union. Regina was just 18 years of age at that time, and the internet went wild. Photos and videos from the ceremony surfaced online. Regina dressed in traditional attire, surrounded by family members, while Ned stood proudly by her side. Reactions poured in from every corner. Fans, bloggers, fellow actors, and even politicians had something to say. Some celebrated the marriage, calling it a smart and strategic move by a young woman who knew what she wanted. Others criticized the age gap and questioned her motives. But no matter the opinion, one thing was certain: Regina and Ned had become one of the most talked about couples overnight. While Regina stayed silent for months after the wedding, the media didn't let the story go. She was accused of marrying Ned for his money. Some said she was forced by her mother. Others claimed it was a publicity stunt. But Regina eventually broke her silence, not with a press release, but by living her truth. In interviews and on social media, she began sharing glimpses of her life as Ned's wife, from lavish vacations to her growing interest in politics and business. Regina's message was simple: she wasn't a victim, and she wasn't ashamed. In fact, she was thriving. Ned, on his part, made it clear that polygamy was part of his lifestyle, and that he saw nothing wrong in taking Regina as a wife. He emphasized that she was not the youngest woman he had married, and that his culture fully embraced such unions. To him, love, compatibility, and mutual respect were what mattered most. But the story doesn't end there. What happens after the wedding? Did the fairy tale continue, or the reality strike? In the next part of this video, we will take a closer look at her life after marriage, from parenthood to politics, and everything in between. When Regina Daniels and Ned Nwoko tied the knot, it wasn't just a marriage, it was a media earthquake. Nigerians and even fans across Africa had opinions. Some were supportive, many were shocked, and others outraged. One of the biggest triggers for public backlash was the massive age gap. Ned Nwoko was 59 at the time, and Regina Daniels was just 18. That is the 41-year-old difference. To many Nigerians, it was a bitter pill to swallow. Critics took to Twitter, Instagram, and blogs to call the marriage unbalanced, inappropriate, and morally questionable. Some fans, who had grown up watching Regina Daniels on screen as a child, felt betrayed. They couldn't understand how a young woman with fame, beauty, and money could end up in such a relationship, and with a man old enough to be a grandfather. Then came the rumors. Some accused Regina Daniels of marrying for money and access to luxury, calling her a gold digger. Others turned their attention to her mother, Rita Daniels, claiming she had sold her daughter for financial gain. Harsh allegations flew across blogs and gossip sites, including bizarre claims of rituals and secret cult involvement. For weeks, Regina Daniels trended almost every day, not because of a new movie role, but because of the marriage. And while her fans begged for answers, she stayed mostly silent, letting the world speculate. But it wasn't all negativity. Many Nigerians, especially those from traditional communities, defended the union. They pointed out that polygamy is not only legal in Nigeria, but culturally accepted in many regions. Ned Nwoko himself stated that he came from a royal family, where men were expected to marry multiple wives, and Regina was simply his latest, by mutual consent. Some supporters argued that Regina made a bold, strategic choice, marrying someone who offers stability, wealth, and experience, rather than chasing uncertain love. To them, she was simply exercising her freedom to choose her path. After months of relentless public scrutiny, Regina Daniels finally decided to speak up in an exclusive interview and in clips from her YouTube channel. She opened up about the marriage, her life with Ned, and her emotions through it all. She revealed that she wasn't forced into marriage, and that it was her decision. In her own words, "I don't think I could have married someone within my age group. I am quite stubborn, but my husband always calm and teaches me a lot." That statement alone reshaped part of the narrative, showing that there was more emotional depth to the relationship than people had assumed. She also opened up about the mental health toll of the online abuse. Regina admitted she had moments of sadness, but chose to rise above the negativity. Instead of clapping back at trolls, she began sharing her new life on her own terms, showing fans her travel experience, family moments, and philanthropic work. Over time, the noise began to fade, as Regina embraced her role as a wife, mother, and young businesswoman. Some of her harshest critics started to ease off. Many began to respect how she handled the pressure, never losing her poise, never responding with bitterness, and most importantly, never losing focus on her goals. Regina Daniels is not just the girl who married a billionaire. She's a mother, a film producer, a fashion icon, and entrepreneur. And while the controversies surrounding her marriage may never fully disappear, one thing is certain: she's owning her narrative and living it loudly. So what has life been for Regina Daniels since the marriage? Has she lived happily ever after? Or has the fairy tale come with its own challenges? In the next segment, we will dive into her life after marriage, the luxury, the motherhood journey, the political influence, and how she's evolving. After the wedding bells faded and the headlines calmed down, many expected Regina Daniels to fade into the background. But she did the exact opposite. Instead of shrinking into her new role as a wife, she stepped into the spotlight with even more confidence, embracing motherhood, luxury, and a new identity as a young woman, navigating both fame and family life. On June 29, 2020, Regina Daniels gave birth to her first child, a baby boy named Ned Nwoko. She was just 19. The news broke the internet once again. But this time, the reactions were different. Social media was flooded with congratulation messages, baby shower photos, and adorable clips of the newborn. Regina shared the journey of her pregnancy in a mini YouTube documentary titled Our Circle, giving fans a personal and emotional look into her transition into motherhood. From prenatal appointment to emotional moment with her husband, fans got to see a more vulnerable side of her, and many began to admire her strength and maturity. Since then, Regina has embraced motherhood fully. She often posts affectionate moments with her son Muni, and in 2022, she welcomed a second child, another boy named Khalifa. Despite the glamorous lifestyle, she shows glimpses of hands-on parenting, playtime, and teaching her sons about responsibility, culture, and love. From private jet to luxury vacations in Dubai, London, Jordan, and the Maldives, Regina's life as Ned Nwoko's wife is the definition of opulence. But what makes her story different is that she doesn't just flaunt it, she owns it. She has been gifted luxury cars, expensive jewelry, designer, outfit, and even a multi-million naira mansion. One of the biggest moments that made headlines was when Ned surprised her with a brand new Mercedes-Benz SUV shortly after the birth of their first child. She also received a Rolex watch, reportedly worth tens of millions of naira. But behind the glitz, Regina also used her platform to redefine what it means to live lavishly with purpose. She's not just showing off, she's inspiring young women to be confident in their choices and ambitious about their futures. Regina's role as Ned Nwoko's wife isn't just about family, it comes with influence, expectations, and responsibility. Ned, being a former senior and prominent political figure, often involved Regina in public and political activities. She has been spotted at rallies, humanitarian campaigns, and high-profile events, no longer just as a guest, but as a partner. In 2023, she was appointed the Social Secretary of the Senator's Wife Forum in Nigeria, a clear sign that she's stepping into bigger shoes. She now speaks publicly on women empowerment, youth involvement in governance, and educational initiatives. Her involvement in her husband's malaria eradication project has also drawn praise. Together, they have campaigned for cleaner environment, better health policies, and increased awareness about malaria prevention across Africa. Even with her busy family life, Regina hasn't left her personal ambitions behind. She has grown a fashion and beauty brand, signed several endorsement deals, and ventured into producing her own content. She has smartly monetized her fame through social media collaborations and her YouTube channel, which attracts millions of views. In many ways, marriage has expanded her reach, not limited it, and while many people doubt her ability to balance fame, family, and influence, she's proving them wrong, one business deal at a time. With her royal ties through Ned Nwoko, the lavish lifestyle, and increasingly political influence, some fans now refer to Regina Daniels as a Nigerian modern-day princess. But unlike fairy tales, her story is one she's writing herself, and with every photo, every decision, and every chapter, she shares with the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Regina Daniels' lifestyle, her marriage, and biography, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because there's more celebrity stories and real talk coming your way. My next video will be titled Where Things Stand Now, the current state of Regina Daniels and Ned Nwoko's marriage. So see you all in the next video.